Thank you, Patsy Jones. My name is Jacob Oggs, and this is the Eric Von Wade Show, featuring Debbie Noble and Dale Rankin and myself, and Tyler Thorson. Eric is on his way. He'll be here shortly. Something about traffic and some nasty conditions out there. We are looking.
It's gray and drizzly.
Yeah, we are looking at kind of a chilly north wind coming up, picking up through the rest of the day into this evening.
It's supposed to get colder and colder today, right?
The weather's going backwards today.
Yes, it is.
So, and we've got
I got sweaters to wear, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we've got
I got fleece.
a few days of this nice kind of cool and overcast kind of conditions.
Yep.
It's funny because it actually feels cold outside. Yeah. Whereas towards the end of summer, when we would have those overcast days, you walk out and it's 100% humidity and it's 95.
Yeah, it's just
This is
it's
good dog weather.
clammy.
Yeah.
Dogs love this weather.
Getting everything back up and running here, and Eric will be here shortly. One other thing that I do want to watch out for is by this weekend we're hitting great weather, and I'm hoping that pattern will keep up through the boat parades for next Friday and Saturday. I know they actually
have. And this weekend, downtown is this weekend, is Saturday.
Yeah, and they have to get Coast Guard permission for doing these, and they have generally I think around a 20 or 25 mile an hour or knots per hour wind limit.
Yep.
So
I think it was only been called off one time.
Yeah.
That was in about 16, I think, or 17.
Well, what happens is a lot of the smaller boats end up fall out.
Well, we had a guy that had a little sailboat, and he put green Christmas lights up to the top of the mast and a big circle at the bottom, and he was a Christmas tree. But every time the wind would come, it would lean him over, and his Christmas tree would dip in the water, and he was starting to take on water, and so after that, the small boats all kind of went home, and that was kind of the end of that. It was a great float, but it didn't really float. It kind of.
Eric, have you ever been in one of the Christmas parades?
I don't know that I have. I've been in parades, but not in the La Posada.
Yeah.
And so,
I hear that somebody out there needs Eric Von Wade on their boat.
you
can jump on with us. We're the one with the tuna tower and the guy shivering up in the top.
I like the way that sounds. Can we recreate? I was thinking about that Christmas tree dipping in the water.
Yeah.
If we had a Christmas Jaws, you could have a guy there with.
Yeah,
that,
you could.
Well,
it would dip. So he had the lights were on two separate circuits. When it would dip, one side would dip in, the lights would go out. Then it would right itself, the lights would come back on, and then it would go and go the other way. So it's it was a flashing Christmas tree. And then in the middle of it that year, a barge came down the thing, and it had a red and a green light. And so I told the television guy, I said, "That's the moon float. We decorated."
I like.
You know how much permits you have to get permission to put that thing in a parade?
I can only imagine.
Well, and we're live out here at Doc's Steaks and Seafood for the Eric Von Wade Show, and this is where you'll be watching the live broadcast on Channel 6 on next Friday.
Friday night, right here.
That'll be fun.
That'd be fantastic. I mean, look, anytime we can have a parade, I think it's a good cause. I mean, as long as there's probably a few, but I mean, we do things festively here.
So a lot of people don't know this. If you go to New Orleans, you can go actually get a permit and have your own parade any day you want.
Yeah.
So even if it's a parade of just you and some friends, or you and a jazz band
Can't
to
you
follow
do that
you.
anywhere?
Yeah.
You can do that in Port A too until the cops show up.
Yeah. No, my favorite story that you tell is the parade that was over there that they didn't have a permit for.
Janet Planet did that.
And no one knew what was going on.
They forgot to tell the cops, and so the cops showed up. So there's a big traffic jam. Everybody's calling the police station. So the PD goes over there. What the heck are you guys? Oh, we're having a parade. So they just turned the car around, and they were the lead
And they were the
parade, and
if
everything
you can't beat
was
them,
fine.
join them. That's
Yeah,
the
you
whole
can
thing.
have a parade any day in Port Aransas till the cops show up, and then you got to negotiate.
Then you got to let them
Yeah.
start. Then
Well,
you got to let them lead it.
I
You
mean,
include 'em.
but they're used to things like that. I mean, I've seen some things in Port A. I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got the Mardi Gras parade.
Yeah.
We did that for a few years.
I like that one.
And we did we take our float up there and do the Mardi Gras parade. That was on a Friday.
Yeah.
And man, you could have dropped a bomb on that place and killed every winter Texan south of San Antonio.
Oh,
That's where they were.
I mean, you get
Yeah.
4,000 or 5,000 people out there. You'd have to get somebody out in the front, parting them like Moses,
Yeah.
to get the parade down the street.
Well, I tell you, Texas has a lot of great things going on. Just was it last weekend? I guess I found myself through a series of unfortunate and fortunate events in Fredericksburg, Texas. I mean, it was after work. I mean, somebody needed to ride,
Yeah.
And but that place, I haven't been to Fredericksburg in a while, that is a whole German experience, and I don't know
Yeah.
that anybody there is from there. But I mean,
Yeah.
people were
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean, it was.
I heard there are 80
haven't been
wedding
in a while.
venues in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
now. 80
Wow.
wedding venues.
That's where
Oh
I
my
got
gosh.
married.
and probably one divorce
Yeah.
court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't been back there since the first year I got married. I mean, it has changed a lot. They used to have a very stringent, I guess, like not a business owners association.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you were going to build anything, it had to look like it was from the 19th century. In essence, that's
Well,
it's-
and-
people complained about it, but when you
Hi,
walk
Ted.
down the buckboard sidewalks and you
Yeah.
on a dusty afternoon,
Yeah.
for a moment you get a feeling that you've actually stepped back in time.
I love that.
But they have changed that now.
It was a
Now there's
stage-
major hotels.
Yeah.
And
It
all
was a
sorts of things.
stagecoach
Yep.
stop when it got going.
But I mean, there's so many towns that you just don't think about it, but are founded by Germans, and there's so much
Oh,
German
yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
But the German food in Fredericksburg is about as it is fantastic.
Yes.
Well, the Germans came
Don't
in.
they have wineries up there too?
The what now?
The
Don't they have
wine country is
wineries?
around
Oh,
there.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
That area too,
They
yeah.
have wine and cheese bars,
Yeah.
fantastic all over the place, and they
Well, that
pop
sounds
up and
good.
come down. Even old gas stations have been turned into wedding venues. I mean,
Oh, wow.
it is a wedding
Gas and go.
destination. Yeah.
Basically,
Well,
yeah.
the German population through the hill country came in through Indianola, the port of Indianola, and they came in through land grants, and they started settling the Baron of New Braunfels.
Yep.
And all the way up through, you had the Polish settlements around Panna Maria, the Czechoslovakian settlements a little west of that, Czestowaja and in that area.
Right.
And then the Germans, the hill country, the farmland was similar to where they came from in Germany.
Oh, so it was like
that's,
hell.
That's
I
why
mean,
they rent.
how do
why
they
ended
farm
up there.
rocks? Dale,
I don't
that
know,
was-
but they figured it out.
I mean-
and they came in through Indianola until it was wiped out after the second time a hurricane hit it. But if that's how Fredericksburg
Man.
was formed, I was reading about that
Yeah.
the other day.
It's a fantastic place. There's so many things in Texas right here in our own backyard. It's not a bad drive unless you're doing it at night. It's decided to rain. I mean,
Yeah.
they had torrential
It's
precipitation.
probably
Oh,
close to
I
5
don't like driving
hours
in that
to get
anymore.
up there, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if you
Four
don't
and some
know exactly
change.
where you're going.
Because
And
you got it. What do you do? Go up 37 and then cut over?
well, you go like you're going to San Antonio and kind of cut it out. You take the loop around. It saves some time, so you're not going through downtown San Antonio. But here's the thing that I'm not quite sure exactly because my GPS went out about halfway where I was going. So, but I found. I used to have a lease up there in Real County, Hill Country area,
Yeah.
and I know I found the same road. It is the most dangerous road. It's narrow. It turns around. There's a cliff you drop off,
Ooh.
and then it's raining, and I have a headlight go out.
Oh no.
I got pulled over, and I had the nicest DPS officer. I mean, he was like, "Here's a warning, but let me see your file. Okay, I think you do this." And he goes, "I don't know why." I know why, because that morning I was deleting files, thinking, well, "This is not necessary. I don't,
Yeah.
And no, apparently it was because I couldn't get back into my Play Store. It's raining. I mean,
Couldn't get-
it was
Well,
ridiculous.
there's no direct route to Fredericksburg.
No, there's not.
You got to
And I-
sneak up on it.
And actually, I was going past that. If you go past it on what is it? I'm trying to think of the road now. It's there's a 1 and an 8 in it somewhere, but if there's a cafe off to the left-hand side that is fantastic. It's called Hilltop Cafe,
Oh yeah, I've been there.
and I mean, there's nothing before it and nothing after
Well,
it.
that's near Blanco,
Oh, that's where I was then. Yeah.
and they had Pootie had Pootie's Lounge was right up the road from there.
Yep.
And
That's
he
a great
wrote
name.
he drove
Yes.
Willie's bus, and he used to go. I went up there to a Billy Joe Shaver show one night, and he was getting $10 a head at the door, which is a pretty good lick in those days.
Yeah.
And he filled the place up, so he put the men's room sign over the exit door in the back. Said, "Hey, my wife's in there. Sorry, buddy, go around. We're full." And he hit him for another $10 on the front end.
Well, I mean, it was just amazing how we have such a unique thing. Things like that pop up. I mean, we got neon lights, everything. It was shining like a beacon in the haze and
Well,
the fog.
Hilltop's been there forever.
Yeah, I mean, but it was packed. And
Yeah,
here's the
that's-
other thing.
It's on 181.
I don't know what I think it's the water, but they grow gorgeous women up in the hill country. I don't know where they're coming from, but they're
They come with the McMansions, I think.
I think they must because it's just.
But you don't see that. You don't see those women in the residence of the Side Hill Gougers.
Probably
They
not.
live down by the water in the big houses and up on the mountains.
Yeah.
And the cedar choppers, the Side Hill Gougers, they go right above the floodplain, cut them out a place in the side of the hill, and put their cabin right there, and they're good.
The cedar choppers. That's
yeah.
actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
a Side Hill
surprisingly accurate.
Gouger is a subset of the cedar choppers because the cedar choppers are mobile.
Yeah.
They literally move around and chop cedar. But the
Right.
side hill, as when they want to settle down, they become a side hill gouger. Knock a place in the side of because the land is cheap on the side of the hill because nobody wants it.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder, I bet there's conversations going on in the hill country right now about how we are down here on the coast.
Yeah.
Well, they want to come here. I mean,
Yeah.
that's. But
Well, you see the side hill gougers here. They're in vans down on the beach. They stay for a few days.
right,
Then they go
and then
home.
they go back. Well, that's a whole other debate. On having hunted in the hill country, I love it because it's a number of things. As a bow hunter, you don't have to worry about cover set. People do anyway, but you got cedar all over the place. Just
Yeah.
rub yourself down with some leaves. You smell
Yeah.
like a cedar tree. I had some of the best bow hunting, the rest of it, but. The thing that is always, I guess, a point of contention are the cedar choppers because they'll come through. It's a lot of money for the landowner, and all that cedar oil is,
Yeah.
high-priced stuff. But I don't think most people realize the hill country and all that, those cedar trees are not indigenous.
Right.
Those things were brought in by settlers. And prior to that, I mean, there was a place I was on. There's undiscovered history. There was a military fort. Still had
Awesome.
a wooden fort, right?
Yeah.
Cedar naturally lasts for a pretty good time. They built it out of what was there. You find arrowheads. There was encampments. I mean, there was a 98-year-old woman that came up, this is years ago, to the front gate of the lease and wanted to see the cabin on one of the leases that's part of this one property because she was born in it. And
Oh, wow.
they built onto it. It was stone, and it had one window. And she said she remembers her dad shooting at Indians that were
Through that window.
through that
Well,
window.
you go up to the Gray Moss Inn in just outside of Bernie, and it was a stagecoach stop on Bernie Stage Road.
Right.
A friend of mine, Ronnie, and I knew Stefania owned it, and it had slots in the limestone so you could blink at the Indians as
Yeah.
they rode around the stagecoach stop.
I mean, it's fast, and all this stuff is right there. But here's the thing: landowners are scared to death to let media know or anybody else because they're afraid. It's happened in a few places where there's outcroppings of complete velociraptor dinosaurs and stuff that you can see on a hillside. But if you start letting people out there, before you know it, you may lose control of your property. So.
And you've also got, you're talking about the cedar not being indigenous. They had a highway up there. The highway to nowhere was held up for 10 years. 6-lane road dead ended because they found, I think it was a golden cheek warbler or something, but it was in the old growth cedar down in the river bottoms.
Right.
And that stuff had been there long enough. It was backlogged, I guess you would
Yeah.
say.
I mean-
It would grow along the fence lines because the birds would spread it in their droppings,
Right?
and down in the river bottoms where they'd go to get water. And if you found it on your property, you had all kinds of environmental issues.
Yeah.
And you could clear it all you wanted, but if it was down in the river bottom, you ran into trouble.
And that's one of those things. But I would like to see, they had more live oaks and a lot of grasses. I mean, at one point in time, buffalo roamed.
Oh, this island was covered with live oak.
Yeah?
People think it was
Yep.
palm trees. The oak trees were here way before the palm
yeah.
trees.
Right.
Ronnie and I gotta go make newspapers happen.
All right. Well, I can
Gonna
see
make a
you're.
run?
Oh, yeah,
We're
you
headed
do.
to
It's
Mexico.
Thursday.
We'll
You're
be
all
back.
serious
We're headed
today.
to Mexico to pick them up. That's right.
I knew he was going to bring some good stuff today, but Dale is wearing corduroy pants and a leather vest. That is the professor's uniform
It's
right
the
there.
season, man.
Right. Well, and I'm seeing more cowboy hats as I show up here. I don't know
Well, I
if.
got mine over there.
It's-
but
It's the
I
island.
wore
The
it
island
because
I
it
like
was
it.
raining.
And the pointer setter.
Yeah, we do, but we have a poinsettia here. It's very festive here at
I think
Doc's.
Ted brought that.
Yeah, Ted. He
nice.
pirated one of the decorations from a table here at Doc's and
okay.
set it up there for the
like
feed. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you can just go to Island Moon Live, and we're doing a special. We're live streaming the Eric Von Wade Show. We're also on 105.9 and 103.3, which is probably where you're listening right now, and also on 104.1 on Retro Tejano.
It's great to be here. It is a beautiful day. Let me say this. Although it's hazy, foggy,
I love
I know that my fellow photographer friend here, it's always a unique look. I mean, no matter
It
what the
is.
day is.
Good
It
light.
is. No, it's great. It is good
Well,
light.
Ronnie and I are headed out.
All
We'll
right.
see you when
All
we
right.
get back from Mexico.
Bios con Dios. And we will
Right,
see
con
you
Dios.
guys. I tell you, did you get a haircut? No.
No, he's wearing
No,
a
no,
beret.
okay. Oh, I
he's
see.
wearing a beret.
But he had it.
Yeah.
He had it braided. You've got a girlfriend now. I can say. So,
Shout out to Tracy. Yes,
there
his,
you go.
his mermaid
Look
gal
at
that
that.
he writes
You're
about.
looking quite spiffy. I thought if you got a haircut and didn't tell me, I mean,
Yeah.
we're in the hair club, so it's still there.
It's
Okay,
still
good.
all right.
It's hiding under his
Man,
jaunty little beret.
Eric, I was thinking about you the other day. I ran into, I don't know if you've ever read it. Gene Hill wrote a Hunter's Fireside book.
I don't think
You
I
ever
have.
heard of it?
No.
A friend of mine had it, and I when I thought of it again, I made a note because I wanted to bring it up. It's definitely worth a read. The guy's writing
Is
style
it
is just
nonfiction
awesome.
or fiction?
I think it's just a collection of stories, really.
Okay.
And of course, if any story revolves around hunting or fishing, you always got to question its legitimacy.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
and the fish get bigger every time, and the deer
Yes.
gets bigger, and yeah.
You know, I hate to say this. If you, Facebook, I guess, inspired this. You know, books you've read.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
I started going through
Which
that
is great
sometime
because I
back.
feel like more people should read.
Right.
And I feel like for a while people weren't reading. And it's great now
Mm-hmm.
that people are on TikTok and people are on Facebook talking about their favorite books.
I mean, that's the thing.
It's not just Oprah anymore.
I have not read a book in a little bit, so it's about time for me to read one again. But when I was going through the books I've read, it added up to be, I was kind of impressed with myself. I've
Yeah.
read a lot of books. And I used to do more of that, but there's some classic works out there. And I've had two people in the last week, out of the blue, ask me, hey, years ago, you were talking about this series of books that you read, and it sounded way too wholesome for what I'd read. Maybe.
Are you reading Little House on the Prairie again?
No, well, I read some of that,
There's
actually.
some hunting and fishing
Right.
in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is, there's stories of, hunting dogs and duck dogs and all
Right.
this as well that are in there. But one of the excerpts, I actually went on and found it because one of my
cool.
favorite quotes in this book, it says, like death and poverty, stupidity has been around so long that people cannot imagine human life without it.
I love that. Okay, see, I'm
yeah,
a big.
yeah.
I love quotes, And,
Yeah.
and in fact, Thomas Edison, for not all the perfect American ideal that you would like to see, he's did.
Nobody is as perfect as the
and-
mythology makes them out to be.
And that's what I'm saying. Some
We're all
are
human.
Some are a little bit more aggressively self-interest centered, I guess you could say, but they put on a good public image, right?
Oh, yeah.
Thomas Edison
Yeah.
he had a great degree of Americana propaganda. I mean, and that
Okay.
doesn't mean it's bad, but he said that most people miss opportunity because it shows up wearing overalls. It's got dirt under its
Right.
nails, and it looks like
Right.
hard work.
Right. Right.
But a lot of great stuff that people have come up with that sometimes they're quirky. Yogi Berra.
Oh, he had lots of.
Here's the thing. He is one of the.
I wouldn't want. Yeah. What is it? I wouldn't want to. Who said I wouldn't want to join a club that would have me as a member? That wasn't Yogi Berra.
It
But
wasn't
it sounds
Yogi
like
Berra.
something that he would say.
But there's a lot of things attributed to him that weren't really him. Nobody knows who came up with them. But he did have some golden ones, and a lot of them were actually, when you knew his life, they weren't that funny. It was true.
Yeah.
When you went to his house, there was a split that went left or right. So, but they both converged back into the same road that dead ended at his house. So he says, "Hey, on your way to my house, if you come to a fork in the road, take it."
Yeah.
But there was a documentary his granddaughter did, and I'm so glad that I saw it because it was titled "It Ain't Over Till It's Over." That's
Okay,
one of the things
yeah.
he did say.
Yep.
But he is truly one of the greatest baseball players to have ever played the game, and I think she nailed it when she said his personality was so much larger than life, it overshadowed his accomplishments in baseball.
That's an excellent point because I only think of him for the funny things that he said.
Right.
Like I never even thought of him as being a baseball.
You know how many
player,
World
so-
Series rings he has?
How many?
9.
Good Lord.
That is far more than
Than
most
anybody
people.
else.
I think
That's crazy.
Yeah.
3, I think, is the most anybody else has.
Wow.
He fought against so many things. George Steinbrenner had made a decision to cut him when the beginning of the season as the first year coach. They were losing. They came in and only lost the World Series by like 1 run or something like that, and it was the error of one player. But the decision was already made. Then Steinbrenner himself didn't even go down and fire him. So there was a big, nobody spoke to each other for years. They finally made up. But I mean, this guy, he looked like a gorilla. He married way above. His wife is gorgeous. But he never let anything get to him personally. He was always one of those. You know what? He might say things privately, but he wasn't gonna get into the mud with anybody publicly. And
That's interesting.
a great guy, and he did so many fantastic things for other people and other players. And his little quirky, you can't help but to remember them, but they help you with everything else. One of the ones I like the most, he said there was a player who was trying to develop a style like he saw another player. He says, "Look, if you can't copy him, don't imitate him." I mean, and that was kind of
That's a good one too.
right. I mean, but there were so many things, little pearls of wisdom. They call it narrative fidelity in communication science. And when you hear something and you believe it to be true upon hearing it, that's narrative fidelity. So, and he had that ability to just come up with those little truisms. Now, there's always exceptions to everything, but I like the point. I'm sure he had a flaw of some sort.
You sure he had a what?
A flaw of some
A flaw.
sort.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it was very hard for anybody to really find out what it was. I mean,
Maybe the people who really knew him well.
I'm sure. But you bring up a good point. That's we're in an age now in which if we listen to, and you can find enough stuff about everybody to find great
Yeah.
people who inspired us. You know, I mean, and it's always one-sided. But if you did that everywhere, we would have no one to look up to on any level.
Yeah.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger probably has the most flaws of anybody that's really famous, but he means well. Just don't marry him, and,
I'll try not to.
and get into a relationship with him because you're not going to be the only woman.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Also, all those quotes, if you look on the internet, there's so many quotes, and you can attribute them to anybody. We can write
Yeah.
anything and say Eric Von Wade, and if you put it in a nice font, everybody will believe it's true.
this is true. This
So
is
it's
true.
it's fun to go and Google them and find out who actually said them.
Right.
I just figured out that Mark Twain stole all these quotes from Samuel Clemens.
Well, there you go. Hey, how about this? Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, stole everything.
Nobody even knows who he was.
Nobody knows who
No,
William.
they don't. They really don't know who he was.
Oh, yes. I mean, quite an interesting guy. But here's what I thought was great. I have always admired, he's not Sid Caesar, Mel.
Chris Marlowe.
No, he had.
That's one of the guys
He
he-
had a
he was
cigar.
contemporary.
Here's his famous quote. His name's right on the tip of my tongue. I saw it. I could see his face. He had a show, and he said, "Look," he said, "I only steal from the best." And even that
Right.
was a quote he stole from somebody else.
And even that was a quote.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, you know,
And so, but I mean,
imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
this is true. This is true.
That's
And-
another quote somebody said.
But I mean, here we are. You know, Christmas time's coming up, right? I
Yes,
think
it
it's
is.
interesting though, and since you have to think while you absorb. If you don't, you'll be gullible and you know,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah,
too
yeah.
many of
you
that.
can't believe everything everybody says. Well, everybody says conflicting things, so you really have to figure that out.
Have you heard about this new disease or sickness? Excuse me, that's going around. Nope. Scream vomiting.
What?
What?
Yep.
Sounds
Man,
like a
you're-
bad middle school band.
Scream vomiting.
Yeah, it does sound like a band name, or
And-
it sounds like some new TikTok thing that middle schoolers
Right.
are trying.
Now, I'm all about educating people, but
Do we need to educate people on what this is? Maybe we don't
well,
need to tell people.
here's
what
the
this
thing,
is.
and this is why you have to read everything. And I feel like I'm becoming that person I used to make fun of when I was younger. But when you know too
Aren't we
much,
all? Aren't we all?
When you know too much, it's hard to let it go. They directly are trying to tie this into marijuana use at a time in which we have this whole big cannabis law coming around. Now,
yeah.
and-
I thought people who use marijuana were like mellow and chill. It seems like they don't go around screaming.
well, the vomiting
I'm
part,
just saying.
it has a different effect with everybody. I'm just going to
No, that's
say,
true.
I know
That's
this
true.
guy. He's really upbeat and energetic, and if he uses marijuana, he
Yeah.
usually ends up in the fetal position, nauseated on the floor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he tries to
no.
avoid it.
No, I tried it in college and it wasn't for me either.
I mean, it's just, I'm not saying, I'm not judging, I'm not trying to be,
Yeah. I found
it looks
myself way
good.
less outgoing,
Right.
and I'm like, what's the point of that?
For me, it's like this. Now, there's probably there's different stuff out there or whatever else is, but it's like buttermilk.
Oh, yeah.
Buttermilk looks delicious when somebody's drinking it. It looks fantastic, but it is
and you
not
get that little mustache.
right. But it is not the taste you're expecting when you try to
Yeah,
guzzle
yeah.
it as a kid. In fact, you
It's
think
also yeah.
you find it revolting.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like vanilla. Vanilla doesn't taste good either by itself.
No. But I'm saying, like, as I got old, like, buttermilk as a batter is fantastic. I like that. I'm sure if I went and tried it now, I used to see people old people sprinkling, was it Lowry seasoned salt in buttermilk and drinking
Okay, no,
it.
thank you.
Interesting.
I mean, they really did like Lowry's, but I've seen that happen with other people too. So,
I do like a good seasoned salt. It's good
Right.
on things. I don't know about the buttermilk thing.
and then they're dipping crackers or some sort of something in the buttermilk, and I mean, it looks good. It looks like a milkshake,
But it's not really.
But it doesn't taste like a milkshake.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like
It's
good to
for you.
cook with it. Yeah.
Right. But
yeah.
goat's milk, on the other hand, my little brother growing up had
Yeah.
an allergy to everything, including
yeah.
mom's milk. So they had goat's milk. You
Yep.
put some chocolate in goat's milk, and we're talking
Oh,
about
goat's
some
milk is
delicious
good.
stuff. Chilled.
We had a goat farmer used to come to the farmer's market, and I would buy their cheese and their milk all the time. It was delicious.
It's just hard to get the goat to sit still when you try to slide under there to get some fresh stuff. I mean, but it looks weird as well. But the thing is, if it tastes good, I'm down for it. And but scream vomiting, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm skeptical of whether or not it's directly related to the marijuana, or whether it's something else, maybe in the rolling papers, or maybe the person who's distributing this out on the streets. I don't know. But I mean, they have the legal stuff now. We had a guest talking about this the other day, and it's been legal for a while. There's this big debate about whether once you let the genie out of the bottle, it's really hard to get them back in there.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
As a metaphor. And so
Yeah.
the taxes that have been generated from it, the jobs that have been created, and the other thing is it seems to have sucked all this, I don't know, extreme novelty out of the whole process. I mean, I've heard all these commercials for years. They used to run them on our station when I first started talk radio about how don't give your kids alcohol because it's not going to. Well, I don't know how they're giving your kids alcohol. I mean, you're sitting around laughing at them getting,
Well, that's-
stumbling drunk or what.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up and I had a sip and then I had a little drink of mine, or they let me
Well,
have
you
wine.
want to take the mystique out of it. You don't make it seem
Right.
like it's something that you want to go do, sneak around and do too much of. You have
Right,
to make
and
it
so-
seem like a normal thing so you have a healthy relationship.
Well, this is a theory between like the way that kids grow up in Europe and specifically Germany. My buddy
Yeah,
was
yeah.
talking about
Yep.
is they'll drink a little beer with some Coca-Cola in it.
Yeah.
And the kids get they're exposed to wine and beer and everything
an early
beforehand, and not like in the U.S. There's so many people that are so sheltered and kind
Yeah.
of kept away from that once people actually do get to college and are exposed
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that
yeah.
party scene,
Then you go- then you go
and
too
then
much.
it's
It's too
yeah,
much.
then it's way too much.
See, well, and that's part of the thing. I disagreed with those PSAs, depending on how you do it, and I don't know how you could. How do you?
I get
how
that
do
you want to emphasize the no drinking and driving. I
Right.
get that that's an important thing to
That is
emphasize.
I mean, but this was about like don't let your kids sip your alcohol.
Right.
My grandfather did it. My mother got mad at him all the time. I mean, but
And
if
you
she
turned
smelled,
out all right
if
so
she smelled,
far.
well, I mean, I really don't get all obsessed about getting sloshed. It's
Yeah.
if you look at the culture of what has happened with
Yeah.
younger people,
The binge drinking thing.
it's not about the flavor of it. It's not about this new IPA. It's about
Right.
how much volume
how
they
fast.
consumed.
How
Right.
much, how fast, yeah.
And how drunk they were, and how they didn't remember this, and how they blacked out. And that is not a hobby.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, I've had,
That's a bad habit,
Right.
That will
Yeah.
probably kill you.
and
Yeah.
I had that happen once in my life, and
I think we all did that once, and then we learned from that.
right, and well, once and a half, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
Once
yeah.
and a half.
I'll give
I
you
got
once,
close
I'll give
to,
you once and a half, yeah.
But I can tell you this: the commercials that used to show the headlights, "Don't drink and drive," and they would
Yeah.
blur and go like that.
Yeah.
I was walking outside, and we'd invited girls to come over, spring break, and I was too drunk to do anything about it. But their headlights did that. And I go, "Oh my God, the commercials are real." I mean, and so, but I was miserable. I was eating
Truth
like
in
toast
advertising.
yeah, I mean, the next day, the hangover is horrible. Why
Oh my
would you
God,
do
I
that?
cannot do that anymore. Absolutely not. I'm off shooting things all
Yeah.
the time. I just cannot. I don't have time. I don't have time to be
And
hungover.
I'm not a wuss. I mean, like
Yeah, yeah.
I could handle a large amount if I want to, but I just like to
I
have.
can't anymore.
I like to feel good and maintain and just continue on. It's I shoot better. But I don't drink and drive. And here's the other
Yeah.
thing: it's not as dangerous to your life, but it could be in other ways. Do not drunk text. It is a bad idea. And don't drunk voice to text because
Oh yeah, that's even worse.
it could
It's
say
just slurring. You never know what you're going to get.
only one time did it accidentally turn into something because I was like, "Oh my Lord, I can't believe I said this," but they liked it and kept talking to me. So anyway, but it's common sense. Put the phone away. People need to stop being on their phone as much as they are.
This is true. This is true. I tell myself that every day.
Well, you're not bad. Look, I mean, we all can have a conversation here.
Yeah.
I promise you, there are people in their 20s who you only recognize them from the top of their head because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
always they don't make eye contact.
Eric, I can tell you from photographing events, we want to get
Yep.
people that are smiling and interacting and happy and pointing at things. And you go to take a picture of a crowd, and there's always a couple people who are looking at their phones. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want a picture
No.
of people looking at their phones. That's not part of
Well-
the
Right.
that's not the vibe that I'm trying to show here.
And that's something that Lauren and I always talk about with our girls is, letting them realize that nothing that's really worth anything in your life will ever happen on a screen.
Right.
No.
You know?
No.
Well,
And-
and I'm a big proponent, and I use social media. I
know,
post
same,
pictures.
same.
But if I'm having a conversation with you guys, if we're out hunting, I'm not going to be down here on my phone.
Right.
I mean, it can wait, right?
Yeah.
But some people, I mean, they don't understand it because they're constantly on their phone. The other thing is texting. If I don't respond to a text, call me. It's because I didn't hear the ding or whatever that goes
yeah.
off.
Yeah, if I don't respond to your text, just wait. If you call me, I won't see that. Don't try.
Well, either way. I mean, but-
Email, hardly ever read those
Yeah.
either.
okay, I'm bad about the email because those notices come through with so much spam mail.
Although Google is great
Yeah.
about filtering that stuff out. I get most of that.
But
Every
I-
once in a while, I look in that promotions or spam, and I'm like, oh
yeah.
my God, how much stuff is in there? It's insane.
I've got a friend who is a binge watching addict. All right.
Oh, okay.
It is of the same ilk, though. You're missing that is already. There's nothing new. It's there, right? you're missing out on connecting with a whole world of experiences that may not be there. And I say this because, I was sick for 3 years. I come out, I
Yeah,
get
that's
well,
true.
and I've had people that I did not know died. I mean, that I would have not expected died. Every moment you have to spend with somebody else is something. Recorded
cherish
shows,
that.
you can always go back. If you die, I promise you, heaven, you'll be able to see all. Probably even in hell, they'll have the bad shows. I mean,
Eric's going to be catching up on all his binge watching after,
Yeah.
after he passes
I mean,
away.
well, you've got infinity, so I mean,
You've got
there's
infinity.
nothing you're not going to
Is
see.
it the good place or the bad place?
Well, we hope it's a good place. I saw that show too. That was good, though. That was good.
That was a really good show.
It was fantastic, but it did scare me. What do when
Yeah.
you get to the point where you've done everything, learned every language? Then what do you do?
Then what do you do?
Yeah. But I say this. Here's the thing. It's about to be the holiday season.
Yes,
And people
so
need. If you have
Spend time with real people and not your phone.
Exactly. And here's for safety too. I know a girl
Yeah.
who called me asking, about a firearm because she was walking from her law office to her car on her phone. She didn't see the guy come up and put a knife to her neck and steal her purse.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, it can happen that fast, and that was here. So
Yeah. Wow.
this is a few years back, but still.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're missing. People fall in manholes in New York walking down the
Yeah,
sidewalk
yeah, yeah.
because
No, that's
they're
true.
on
You
their
gotta-
phone.
You have to walk with purpose and look
Right.
like you know what you're going. Look like
And
you're
I-
paying attention.
I understand New Yorkers. I went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I had no problem driving New York. You just can't drive with your thumb up your rear.
Yeah,
And the same thing when you're walking down the sidewalk. They don't mind tourists at all. What they mind is a tourist in the middle of the wide sidewalk that's
Right,
out
like
there where
the
everybody's walking,
dawdling and
staring
stopping,
up,
yeah.
and everybody's like, "You're in." They have places to get because they're not driving everywhere.
No, they
that's
walk
not-
everywhere. My daughter lived there for a few years, and my mother was always asking her, "My God, it's so unsafe. Don't you feel unsafe?" And Sophie was like, "It was the safest I ever felt. It's
Yeah.
the safest place. I feel totally safe walking everywhere in there."
I was there right before they built the new towers, okay, and they had
Oh, yeah.
the memorial, and everybody was the nicest, and they loved to talk politics, but they didn't get all bent out of shape. There was a guy, but he was very knowledgeable about Trump's policies, and they said, well, what about this? It was an informed conversation. I hadn't had one like that since '96 in San Diego, California, and I mean. There was a homeless guy who, instead of asking me for stuff, started talking issues and knew so much. Well, I gave him the panhandle. I mean, you earned it, in my opinion. I thought he was going to ask me for a cigarette or something, but no. I mean,
They're panhandling for political ideas now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's advanced. I mean, I'm
He
impressed.
just looked at Eric and said, "This is someone with whom I want to speak about politics.
I did-
I'll get food later, some other time."
The guy's sign had his Cash App thing on it, right? It said,
That's right.
I
Not
can-
96, we didn't have cash
Yeah.
app.
no, not 96. No, we had nothing back
Here's
then.
what I thought was great, though. I used a $20 bill to pay for $2 parking.
Yeah.
Right? And
Oh, yeah.
I got all my change in Susan B. Anthony's.
Wow.
I was like, it's fantastic. But I mean, things have changed. In New York, to park, it's not $2; it's $75.
Yeah, well,
and that was
I wouldn't drive in New York.
And I mean, I
I
did.
lived in Boston years and years, and
Yeah.
I didn't own a car back then. Pointless.
I lucked out because parking is a premium, right? $75 a park. There was a Starbucks. There's a spot right. I wanted to get coffee. I parked out front, and I was about to get back in and drive away. And I go, wait a minute, this is the best parking spot. There's 42nd Street right there. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
leave my
Yeah,
vehicle
yeah.
right here.
When I lived in Philly, if you got a parking spot right in front of your building, you would
Yeah.
leave your car there as long as you could.
possibly
Right.
could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you might be driving. Well,
Did you have to do that thing where you had to move it on alternate days or whatever?
For snow plowing,
Yeah.
yeah. It was worse in South Philly, but in North Philly it wasn't that bad.
No.
But yeah,
I'd
or
say-
at least that neighborhood where I was. But yeah, it was a different lifestyle, man.
I've got
Yeah.
some great photos from Philadelphia too.
Yeah.
But there are seemingly more. The homeless there are much more invasive. They don't. Like,
Oh,
I'm in
yeah.
the middle of a photo shoot and they're coming in, starting.
Oh, they're
to,
just walking
Yeah.
in there.
But,
They don't
but I
care.
mean, angry at the woman, like and I'm like, you don't even know her, or maybe she did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the woman was Satan. I just never saw Satan and the woman together at the same time. But yes, it was. But not, I mean, not bothering anybody. But there's tons
Yeah.
of art, and you walk down the
Oh, yeah.
streets. That they're redoing the fire hydrants, and they're keeping
Nice.
like you look at manhole covers, and they're from the 19th century. I mean, there's a lot of well-preserved, really cool things. And of course, then you have the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, you got some history there.
They have restored the courtroom where the Declaration of Independence was signed
Oh, nice.
to the exact colors that were there. The paint is not just
Yeah.
something they didn't
That's
have
cool.
pictures,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they found ships of it and
Oh, wow.
flooring and everything else. So it's been restored exactly as it was. And they
That's
had a
very cool.
weird taste in paint. It's like a light cornflower blue with a peach. I mean, but that was the thing of the day, I guess. Very muted colors. very
That was
muted.
the style, huh?
Right. And so, I mean, but it was a fantastic experience there. if you get it, that's what traveling is great for me, anyways, to see the history. That
Oh yeah, no, I love that.
when you can walk in the exact footsteps where I stood and took a photo, the founding fathers had
Yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
They were
they've got
there.
it.
Yeah.
They've got a little barrier so you're not right in it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But they had to walk
Right,
through
they
there
had
to
to go
get there.
through there,
So
right.
Well, when I lived in Philly, I had one of my goals, right? That was on my Philly bucket list was to be in some kind of either like tavern or basement bar or something that like to drink a beer where Ben Franklin would have had a beer.
okay.
He's the
I
guy
think
I relate to.
And I
Did
think
you
I
fly a
pulled it
kite?
off. I think I pulled it off. No, I never flew a kite in Philly over the Delaware River, but yeah.
During a
You have it
thunderstorm.
Get
Yeah.
struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin was quite a fascinating character, by the way.
Oh yeah, he
He's
was.
one
He
of
was
my-
a horn dog.
You know, maybe that's why I related to him. I don't know. But he was what they call a religionist. He donated substantial amounts of money to the synagogue, to the churches, the Catholic. You know,
So any religion, all of them.
mosques even. I mean, like he was
Interesting.
He believed that at that time we didn't have the division, and everybody had a more common understanding of. They all stemmed from the same basic. They believed in
It's
the
that
same
whole
God.
monotheistic religion. There's
Right.
one God, and everybody it sort of
Right,
sees it a
and
different way.
so I mean, I don't think he was donating to like weird things today, but I mean, it was the main religions, and he was. If you look around, he's responsible for helping start most of the ones that are all throughout that area.
Interesting.
And but yeah, I mean, he's a sharp dresser too. I wish they could bring that back.
Yeah, but the hair. I don't know that hair.
well, I don't want to go bald on top, but I'm all in favor.
It
of
looks just in all the
The powdered wig?
it looks stringy and
Oh,
yeah.
well, you got to imagine. They didn't have the shampoo and conditioners that we have today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other guys managed to look a little better than that.
Yeah.
Give us just a sec. We'll be right back with Eric Von Wade talking about jumping into hunting blind with a powdered wig. We've got
And scream vomiting.
some great
Scream
stories.
vomiting.
Great stories
The
coming up
quality
for you.
feed your livestock deserves the best. Holy cow! Farm and Ranch Supply in Robstown is your local source for Thomas More Feed.
Yeah, it seems
Trusted
to be
Texas
like
nutrition for cattle, horses, deer, poultry, and
I said
more.
it's compacted.
Stop by today or visit Holy Cow FarmSupply.com for current specials. In fact, every Tuesday in January, the first 25 customers to buy Thomas More Feed get $2 off their first 10 bags of poultry or cattle feed. Holy cow! Farm and Ranch Supply, proudly feeding South Texas with Thomas More Feed. The Constitution promises the presumption of innocence. In reality, that promise only holds true if you have a powerful and experienced legal defense. And that is Scott F. Lemansky, Lemansky Law, a determined defender of you and your rights with over 2 decades experience in Texas. So regardless of whether you face the most serious cases in our state or federal court systems, Scott F. Lemansky is your shield and buckler who clears the chaotic clouds of crisis. Because when it really counts, you need the trial attorney you can count on. And that's Scott F. Lemansky, relentless defender of you, truth, justice, and the American way. Call Scott Lemansky Law right now. 361-888-4545. That's 361-888-4545. Scott Lemansky, Lemansky Law.
You are listening to the Eric Von Wade Show on KUKA, Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3, Corpus Christi's Retro Country, and on Retro Tejano, 104.1. Debbie Noble, Eric Von Wade, and myself, Jacob Oggs, coming at you live from Doc Steaks and Seafood this morning. Good morning, all. How's it going?
Hey, it is fantastic. I don't get a chance to hang out with Debbie very much. I just see her looking incredible. I mean, every time I see her, she's like, I stumped my toe on something at the beach, and I dug this camera up, and then she takes award-winning photos with it. I mean,
It's not quite like that.
well, you found one like on the side of the road. I remember.
You've always been a big supporter of me. I totally love that about you. I appreciate you, Eric.
She can take pictures with anything. I mean, give her a cardboard box and a pinhole in it, and she's good to go.
If only that were actually true. Yeah.
But here's what's amazing, and I say this now. I've been on this. It sounds crazy, but I'm a reasonable, smart person bringing this up, so you should pay attention. That's my suggestion.
If someone tells you they're smart, you should believe them.
Well, here's the thing. I have realized that maybe not everybody that I thought was crazy is crazy. Maybe they just are really excited and they're talking about something that's fantastical, so to speak, and that's a new word. And so because there was a guy that came down, I'm telling you, I'm going to mark this. Something is happening. I have a sense of things. I don't know what you want to call it. ESP.
It's from your near-death experience.
Maybe that's but it came along before that. I felt like
Okay.
I was becoming somewhat Buddha-ish a while back, and it's not a comfortable feeling. I mean, because I'm wondering, is the loss of hair and the pot-belly stomach, that's the Chinese Buddha. The original
yeah.
Buddha was from India. So anyway, but...
But I digress.
But he is a happy Buddha, the Chinese
Okay.
Buddha, yeah. But he said aliens are going to make contact, and they stopped him in city council because he put down on the agenda he wanted to talk about water. And they didn't...
Oh, I remember. I watched that city council. That was hysterical. Yeah.
And so I'm thinking...
He seemed very serious about it too. He did not sound like a lunatic. He sounded
No.
like an ordinary person trying to talk about something.
I don't sound crazy most of the time either, but...
Yeah.
You know,
No,
so-
he didn't sound crazy, but his words
Well,
were
they
not
were-
what you expected
They
to hear.
were afraid he was... And I think this was the real concern. You don't want to allow somebody to do something that they will be ridiculed and...
Right.
And
Right.
so he seemed like a nice gentleman, and they wanted him connected to water. And he's like...
Yeah, well, if you're speaking on at city council on a particular agenda item, you have to speak about things that relate to the city.
Sure.
That's part of the rules of public comment. You can't just go talk about anything.
And I can promise you this, not everybody has been paying attention to the news that can be seen. We live in a world now where there are no more gatekeepers. That also
No.
means
there's also fabulation. There's
there's fake
much-
news. There's whatever you want to call it.
Not even just anybody can say anything.
Right.
Anybody can go on the radio or a podcast and say anything.
They can't. And here's it all
Or
started.
write anything.
I say this, and with all due respect for all my good podcaster friends, it started when we had bloggers. It started
Yeah,
when we
bloggers.
I believe, started inviting bloggers nobody'd heard of to ask questions of presidential debates. Okay, so I didn't agree with the slant of a lot of the other sources, but at least they're credible sources. You have somewhere you can go to complain, or something that they have to lose, because if they do something unethical or whatnot, people will stop watching the news, or they'll, that's the concern. When you're somebody nobody's heard of, I mean, I guess somebody had. They were popular enough.
Somebody's heard of them,
But
yeah.
they didn't rise to the same level. But here we are. There is, and you have to verify stuff. If you're getting something from the news source and nobody else is talking about it, why is that? That doesn't always mean that it's wrong. It can, because gatekeepers are your news directors, the decision makers that decide what's going to be done, how it's going to be done,
What's
what you're
important
going to
enough for you to hear about it?
Right.
Because you can't hear about everything, because we'd never not look at our phones. We'd
Right.
never interact with anybody else, because there's too much going on everywhere in the world.
It makes us both vulnerable, but it also gives a great advantage, because you cannot stifle. We live in a country where we have the free press, but it all seems to still stem
Almost.
from a general mindset. And there was a great book a number of years back called Coloring the News.
Okay.
And this book talked about, initially, it was written by people who were trying to get the public that was growing in a voice of concern about a monolithic viewpoint politically that was coming from our 3 news stations. And they're trying to say, look, we really can't do that. People are, they just don't, they're not susceptible or gullible like that. And it was missing a lot of things.
Oh, yes, they are.
But the same 2 people went and did one years ago, and basically they didn't say we're wrong, but they said we're wrong. Because here's what the news can do. You are the least susceptible to media bias and influence during presidential elections, because this is a time where more people are paying closer attention to what's going on.
Right.
But the rest of the time, it shapes your opinion going into that to
Right.
begin with, because
Yeah.
news directors, media, they are telling you what's important by what they cover.
Yeah.
If they don't cover it, right?
You assume it's
we
not
had
important,
we
yeah.
had a newspaper that was a classic, just not acknowledge something until they
Yeah.
were forced to.
Yeah.
And then where they put the stories tells you how important it is. If it's the
Right.
first story,
Right. Above the fold,
Right.
second page, page
but
6,
with all
whatever.
the things happening in the world, how is that even possible? If you're doing your best, you have to make a decision, right? You got to
Oh, yeah.
decide. If nobody is there except the ratings to tell you whether or not you're doing a good job, you can pick whatever you want as the gatekeeper. This is our
Yeah.
top story. This is what
Yeah.
we're going to cover. So that's one thing. But you're also having their credibility on the line. So there's got to be some degree when you have nothing and people can put up, if it looks credible, people will assume that it's real. And we've
Yeah.
had people go on about things that are missing points. Our government knows this too, though, and they do the same thing. So,
So how do you feel about the aliens coming?
this is what I'm saying. I don't know that I have seen anything that says it's going to be this year. But, Sam Donaldson, every year, I don't know if you remember him, he was a classic guy, big eyebrows, Canadian guy.
Yep.
He said every year when they had their New Year's, he said, aliens are going to make contact this year. That was his thing. It was aliens are going to make, and they laughed. Ha.
Yeah.
So, but I think we are at a point in which they call it full disclosure. It's got its own little catchphrase now. When Ancient Aliens, as a History Channel program, first started back in, I don't know, I think it was 2011. Nobody, it's a series that runs, right? Nobody bought into it. That show alone.
Did you binge it?
Huh? Well, yes, I have watched it numerous times. I go to sleep listening to it because you have characters. Most mainstream people did not want to lose their career or credibility to acknowledge the things they believed in with this. So you only got people who looked odd. You had people with long hair and hair lips and speech impediments and weird accents and people that dressed like Elvis. I mean,
But also the universe is so vast. It would be very selfish of us, or I don't know, to think that we're the only human beings. We're the only life form in the universe. I mean, we're like a drop. We're like Horton Hears a Who. We're like that little tiny speck.
I think what I'm going to do, I know we've got about 7 minutes left of the Eric Von Wade show today, but for the next show, I want to start a list of conspiracy theories.
Ooh,
like the best of the best conspiracy theories.
There you go.
And we'll go and review those for the.
Let me tease it for you right now because this is my brain candy. Okay, I used to discount all of them. I've had to back up on some of them and say I don't know because for years
we've gone from no to I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I'm telling you right now, I do believe that there are extraterrestrial UFOs, not of this earth, advanced technologies, civilizations, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better term, that may be billions of years older than we are. And that opens up a whole new door. You can already see where things are fitting together with what we're moving to is biological engineering versus mechanical engineering. That's it's not a dead, a lifeless computer. It's a living AI type of thing that's going to biological development. And this is what we've been seeing again and again and again. The government is getting to a point where they can't release. 2017 is when they released the videos that were an example of commonplace things that our pilots are seeing every day, things that defy all physics that we know about. That was the beginning of acknowledgement that they lied to us since 1969 when they said we stopped studying UFOs. There's nothing to it. Project Blue Book was in it. They kept doing it. It was just
Area
in secret.
51?
Right. You've had the Stars Academy, which is an organization that came out with a guy that had the highest classified. He can't tell you everything, but he's telling you they're real, and we know they're real. And so you've got the granddaughter of Eisenhower. No, the daughter of Eisenhower, former President Eisenhower, that is coming out and saying, my dad, and we knew there was an alien. His name was something alien-like, but also, it was in Earth language. And they got pictures of him that nobody can identify who this person is. Nobody said, oh, this is John Smith, and we knew him. And she goes, that's the guy. We all knew it. He was from this planet somewhere there. And, I mean, they can't all be crazy. I mean, so
that's the thing and it's not just a matter of we'll come up with all this and then one of them has got to be true. You look at some of these and it's like, well, okay, that's potentially accurate.
I'm telling you, there's things that are coming across everything, like time loss. That's like a term now that people are. It's where you've been abducted, and I swear to you,
time loss.
In addition to the minor traffic accident that slowed me down this morning, I looked at my watch and it said I had 30 minutes. I looked again, and it said I lost 15 minutes, just like that. Now, I don't know. Maybe I saw things differently, but I wonder if I felt like I was touched inappropriately.
Lauren texted me. She's all excited and wants to be a part of the conspiracy show.
Well, let's do it, because I could talk to you about the Kennedy assassination. There's a man by the name of Dr. Jolly. This guy worked for the CIA. This is the man behind everything that you've ever heard, the Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah.
He was the guy that developed the LSD, in all reality, that was used to, and that became a drug. The CIA did invent that, and I thought that was a conspiracy theory.
I've heard that cancer's already been cured, but because they make so much money, they're not issuing out they're not doling out the cure.
Well, most people don't realize this. There are multiple types of cancer, and back in the 80s, the Bristol Myers Squibb and Merck, they had come up with cures for certain types of cancer. So but all cancer, there's probably a drug that can help you live forever, because our bodies, they say every 7 years you have a whole new. Well, it's because
your cells are regenerated.
It is almost exactly like this analogy. If you take a copy of something in a copying machine and you make another copy and you make another copy,
it
and
starts
another copy,
degrading over time.
So just revert it back to an earlier version. So if you take one file out and then just go back, well, when you're billions of years in the future, I'm pretty sure they probably figured out how to do that. Now, the problem that you run into is sterilization. That's where they think that all the abductions. I get back to the alien thing. There's so many other conspiracies, though.
He's got some thought put into this.
I was not expecting this for
I
the
have
show.
not done
but
a
yes,
lot of reading
yes.
in this area.
It's mind candy. I'm not saying run out and believe all of it, because some things can be explained away, all right?
It's probably also not going to affect my day-to-day life.
But I will tell you this, at the highest levels of government, when you see something, and this is where everybody makes a mistake, oh, well, here's the explanation, and there's the government statement. But did you see it physically, the process, if you're not looking at it, what they're telling you would fit with science, physics, mechanics, but that doesn't mean that's exactly what's happening in the situation. And so the media will reproduce and print it out. There was, I think it was 2016. It was seen by everybody. It's news stories. If you look hard, you can still find it on YouTube. A holographic pyramid was seen above the Capitol in Washington. And it was seen a few months before that above the Kremlin. Giant people, multiple people got it on their phone. The news came out and did it. They contacted the Pentagon, and they said, we didn't do it.
Nothing in the
And-
airspace.
but
huh?
there's nothing to explain
Interesting.
it. So, I mean, it goes back.
Jacob did it with his drone.
Yeah, that's
We could have
that's
some
my-
fun with your drone. I made a crop circle. I'm gonna admit it. I made a crop circle.
yeah.
And
You made-
I
where
forgot
did-
about it. I made the crop circle.
And then you forgot.
And
Where
I
did you
forgot
make
about
it?
it. And I'm like, why are all these planes flying over this thing for months? I'm like, over the fortress. I did it out there. I had nothing to do in a weed eater. And so I made these crop circles. I saw one of the most advanced drones, Delta Wing, all thing, with a jet engine in the back of it, come and do like a 360 on an axis. So over the same spot. I'm like, why are they flying over here? And so I
Now,
thought.
see, you are starting a conspiracy theory. Here's
And
all
so-
these people now out there going, there are crop circles, aliens. And really, it was just Eric out on a whim and then forgot about
Yeah.
it.
I stood in
exactly.
one place and I used the radius of the weed eater,
So
and then
there-
I made pods, so it looked like it had landing feet. I mean, but,
You ran all out.
Well, that's that's the
How
thing.
do
The spin-off movie, the parody movie from that they made after Signs came out, the Mel Gibson film.
Oh, yeah.
Afterwards,
Is that the one where the water glass would jiggle?
Yeah.
The water
well,
glasses everywhere?
they had the crop circle instead of the weird design and everything. It had a arrow pointing to the house and it said "attack here."
Yeah, right.
Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the crop circle.
and that's the other thing. I saw a guy talk about how he faked crop circles, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
saw that. There's no way. The complexity of the geometric shapes that have been, and the time that they popped up, some of them have got to be real. And that's the thing. There's stuff. There's just no way a person can do that. I mean, I'm talking about like the Kubert type of like different levels, different directions. There's a radioactivity with some of them. There's clear mathematical patterns being repeated. And again, how is China with the Three Eye Atlas, this 7 billion year old thing that's been going through there? They can't get a clear picture of it. I mean, so but the radio telescopes that China has come back with flat, square, hard angles that's not going to come out in a series of rows.
That's probably why no one gets a clear picture of Bigfoot, because Bigfoot's blurry.
Bigfoot?
Yeah, maybe he is blurry.
Do you know?
And-
Do you know what Bigfoot is, though? Bigfoot, and this is the whole other theory, and I didn't want to buy it at first. The reason why you never get a good thing at Bigfoot is not something that lives here. He is a scout for the aliens. He's designed to look like a natural creature.
He's a scout for aliens. I haven't heard that one
because
before.
he disappears. I mean, there's a more complex explanation.
He's just here
but
checking
I'm
things
telling
out.
All right, we're going to get back to more of the conspiracy theories next week on the Eric Von Wade Show. Right now, we're going to turn this back over to some great retro country on KUKA Driscoll, Texas 105.9 and
Stream vomiting.
103.3.
been like. It was hazy, there was no sun, but you could see clearly, you know, it was always a haze, and that there were two alien brothers that rolled it like an egg across the sky and put it into place. And so one has to wonder. All the oral history of so many different cultures, we've always dismissed it as
No, but a lot of them have similarities.
exactly. But if you think about people in such a